AITA for refusing to pay after my girlfriend totaled my car? I'm 29 years old, and I've been dating Claire. She's 27, for just over 2 years now. If you asked me a month ago how things were going, I'd have said we were solid. Not perfect, but who is? We've had our fair share of arguments, sure. Some petty, some serious. But through it all, I genuinely believed we were building something real. Something worth fighting for. Claire's always been independent. She's the kind of woman who insists on carrying her own groceries, who hates asking for help even when she clearly needs it. That's one of the things I admired about her early on. She's stubborn, but she's also resilient. She works full-time at a small design firm across town, and until recently, she drove this beat-up silver Honda Civic that had definitely seen better days. The thing rattled like a shopping cart and had a weird smell that she swore was just the air freshener. But I'm pretty sure something was decomposing in the vents. Anyway, about 3 weeks ago, the Civic finally gave up the ghost. She called me from the side of the road, frustrated and nearly in tears. The engine had overheated again, and this time it wasn't bouncing back. She had it towed to a mechanic, who basically told her it would cost more to fix than the car was worth. Claire was devastated. She didn't have the savings to buy a new car outright, and public transportation in our area is, let's just say, not ideal. Her job isn't remote, and she couldn't afford to miss work. So I did what I thought any decent boyfriend would do. I offered her my car. Now I drive a 2018 Toyota Camry. It's not flashy, but it's reliable. I've taken good care of it, regular oil changes, tire rotations, the works. It's my baby. But Claire needed help, and I trusted her. She's always been a cautious driver. No speeding tickets, no accidents. She even lectures me when I roll through stop signs. So I handed her the keys and told her she could use it for the week while she figured out a longer-term solution. She was grateful, hugged me tight, kissed me on the cheek, and promised to treat it like her own. I believed her. The first couple of days were fine. She texted me updates. Made it to work? Thanks again, Red Heart. And your car drives so smooth, OMG. I felt good about helping her out. Like I was being supportive, like we were a team. Then came day 3. It was a Wednesday, and I was at work, buried in spreadsheets and trying to ignore the fact that my lunch was just a sad tuna sandwich. Around 2:17 p.m., my phone rang. It was Claire. I answered, expecting something casual. Maybe a question about the car's Bluetooth or a funny story from her office. Instead, I heard her voice. Shaky. Panicked. I've been in an accident. My heart dropped. I stood up so fast I knocked over my chair. My coworkers glanced over, but I didn't care. I rushed out into the hallway, clutching the phone like it was the only thing tethering me to reality. Are you okay? I asked, trying to keep my voice calm. I think so, she said. I mean, I'm not hurt, but the car, it's bad. I felt like the floor had disappeared beneath me. My mind raced. I asked where she was, if she needed me to come get her, if she'd called the police. She said she was already talking to them, that the other driver was fine too, and that she'd send me the location. I left work immediately, didn't even tell my boss, just grabbed my stuff and ran. When I got to the scene, my stomach twisted. My Camry was wrecked. The front end was crumpled like a soda can, the bumper hanging off, one headlight shattered. It was parked on the shoulder, and Claire was sitting on the curb, hugging her knees, looking like she'd just seen a ghost. I knelt beside her and asked again if she was okay. She nodded, eyes glassy. I'm so sorry, she whispered. I didn't see the light change. I thought I had time. I didn't know what to say. Part of me wanted to scream. Another part just wanted to hold her. I settled for silence. The officer came over and explained that Claire had tried to beat a yellow light and ended up getting T-boned by a pickup truck that had the right-of-way. No one was seriously injured, thank God. But the Camry? It was probably totaled. I felt numb. We rode home in an Uber, neither of us speaking much. She kept apologizing, and I kept nodding, but inside, I was spiraling. I trusted her. I'd lent her something important to me, and now it was gone. But it wasn't just about the car. That night, as we sat in my apartment, I started to notice things. Little cracks in the story. She said she was on her way back from work, but the accident had happened nowhere near her office. I asked her about it gently at first. She hesitated. Then she said she'd taken a detour to meet a friend for coffee. A friend I'd never heard of. At a cafe I didn't recognize. Something didn't feel right, and that's when the real unraveling began. When I pulled up to the accident scene, I already knew it was bad. But seeing it in person, that was something else. My Camry, my reliable, well-maintained, paid-off Camry, was crushed. The front end looked like it had been folded in half. Fluids were leaking onto the pavement. The hood was bent upward like a twisted jaw, and the windshield had a spiderweb crack that stretched across the passenger side. It was the kind of damage you don't bounce back from. Claire was sitting on the curb, knees tucked to her chest, her face pale and stunned. I rushed to her first, of course. I didn't care about the car in that moment. I just needed to know she was okay. She nodded, said she wasn't hurt, just shaken. I wrapped my arms around her and tried to breathe. Then I noticed the other driver. He was pacing, red-faced, gesturing wildly as he spoke to the officer. His truck had a dented side panel and a shattered mirror, but compared to my car, it looked like it had walked away with a bruise. He saw me and pointed. "Is that your car?" he shouted. I nodded. "Your girlfriend was texting. She didn't even look up. Blew through the light like it wasn't even there." I turned to Claire, stunned. She didn't deny it. I was just replying to a message," she said quietly. "I didn't think." She didn't finish the sentence. She didn't have to. The officer confirmed it. Claire had admitted to being distracted. She tried to beat a yellow light while texting and ended up getting T-boned. The other driver had the right of way. There was no ambiguity. It was her fault. I felt like someone had punched me in the chest. We rode home in silence again. This time, the air between us was heavier. I wasn't angry, not yet. I was too tired, too overwhelmed. I just kept replaying the moment in my head. Her hands on the wheel, her eyes on her phone, my car, my savings, my trust. All of it crumpled in a split second. The next few days were a blur of insurance calls, paperwork, and stress. The adjuster confirmed what I already knew. The Camry was totaled. Insurance would cover part of the cost, but not all. Between the deductible, the depreciation, and the fees, I was left with a $4,000 gap. $4,000. That was most of my savings. Money I'd set aside for emergencies, for travel, maybe even for a ring someday. Gone. I didn't yell. I didn't scream. I didn't throw things or storm out. That's not who I am. But I did sit Claire down and tell her, calmly but firmly, that she needed to help me pay it back. She nodded, said she understood, said she would. "I'll pay you back," she promised. Every cent. I wanted to believe her, but something in her voice, hesitant, distant, made me wonder. The next week, I started noticing changes. She was quieter, more withdrawn. She stopped texting me during the day, stopped asking how I was doing. When I brought up the money, she got defensive. "I said I'd pay you back," she snapped once. "Can you stop bringing it up every 5 minutes?" I hadn't. I'd mentioned it twice. Then came the missed payments. She said she'd send me $200 from her next paycheck. It didn't come. Then she said she'd Venmo me I asked what kind. She got vague. That's when I started digging. And what I found made my stomach turn. About a week after the accident, things between Claire and me were strained, to say the least. We weren't fighting constantly, but the silence was louder than any argument. She'd stopped staying over as much. Our texts were short, clipped. I felt like I was walking on eggshells every time I brought up the money she owed me, which, by the way, still hadn't materialized. Then, one Thursday afternoon, I got a call from her. Her voice was upbeat, almost cheerful. "I figured out my transportation problem," she said. I blinked. "Oh? Did you find a used car?" "Nope," she said. "I financed a new one, a 2025 Mazda CX-5. It's gorgeous. You have to see it. I paused. You financed a brand new car? Yep. I got a decent interest rate, and the dealership gave me a good deal on the warranty. It's got heated seats, lane assist, all the bells and whistles. I congratulated her, because what else was I supposed to say? I was genuinely glad she had a way to get to work again. But then I asked the obvious question. So, what about the money you were going to pay me back? There was a pause. Oh, she said. Well, I used that for the down payment. I felt my stomach drop. All of it. Yeah, I needed something reliable. I couldn't wait around forever. I tried to stay calm. I really did. Claire, we agreed you'd help me pay back the $4,000 I had to spend because of the accident. You promised. I know, she said, but I needed a car for work. You'll be fine. You make more money than me. That hit me like a slap. It wasn't just the money. It was the principle, the promise, the fact that I'd gone out of my way to help her, and now she was using my generosity as a reason to justify screwing me over. I don't think that's fair, I said. You should have waited, bought something cheaper, at least paid me back first. Her tone shifted instantly. Oh my God, she snapped. You're trying to control my life. What? No, You are. You're acting like I owe you everything just because you lent me your car. Maybe you shouldn't have done that if you couldn't handle the consequences. I was speechless. She kept going. You're making me feel guilty for trying to take care of myself. I needed a car. I'm not going to put my life on hold just because you're upset. I didn't know what to say. I felt like I was talking to a stranger. This wasn't the Claire I knew. Or maybe it was, and I just hadn't seen this side of her before. I ended the call quietly, told her I needed time to think. That night, I sat in my apartment staring at the ceiling, wondering how we'd gotten here. How a simple act of kindness had turned into a financial and emotional disaster. How the woman I thought I loved could look me in the eye and say, "You'll be fine," like my savings and trust were disposable. And then I started asking myself the question I'd been avoiding. Was this relationship even salvageable? I thought things couldn't get worse. After Claire totaled my car, used the money she owed me to finance a brand new vehicle, and then told me I was trying to control her life, I figured we'd hit rock bottom. I was already emotionally drained, financially gutted, and questioning everything I thought I knew about her. But then came the twist I never saw coming. It started with a casual text from my friend, Jordan. He's one of those guys who notices everything. License plates, bumper stickers, weird coincidences. He's also brutally honest, which is why I trust him. "Hey," he wrote, "saw Claire driving yesterday. Thought she got a new car." I blinked at the message. "She did," I replied. "A Mazda CX-5. Why?" Jordan sent back a photo. It was Claire, clear as day, driving her old silver Honda Civic. The same car she swore was dead. The one she said had overheated and wasn't worth fixing. The one she had towed and declared a lost cause. I stared at the photo for a long time. The Civic looked fine. A little dusty, sure, but intact. No smoke, no damage. Just Claire behind the wheel, sunglasses on, like nothing had ever happened. I called Jordan. "Where did you see her?" "Corner of 5th and Maple," he said. "She was turning into that little strip mall with the bakery." I almost waved, but she looked like she was in a hurry. I thanked him and hung up. Then I called Claire. She didn't answer, so I did what any confused, slightly paranoid boyfriend would do. I drove to her cousin's house. The same cousin she'd mentioned once or twice. The same cousin who, according to her, had helped her figure out the car situation. And there it was, parked in the driveway, looking perfectly functional. The silver Honda Civic. I knocked on the door. Her cousin answered. He looked surprised to see me. "Hey," I said. "Is Claire here?" He shook his head. "Nah, she left a few minutes ago. Took my car." I blinked. "Your car?" "Yeah, the Mazda. She's borrowing it for a bit." I felt my stomach twist. "So, that's not hers?" He laughed. "Nope. She's thinking about getting one like it, though." Wanted to see how it drives. I nodded slowly. And the Civic? Oh, she just parked it here. Said she didn't want to deal with the repairs right now. I asked what was wrong with it. Alternator, he said. I offered to help fix it. It's like $300 tops. But she said she'd rather just borrow something nicer for a while. I thanked him and left. I sat in my car for a long time, staring at the Civic. The car she'd claimed was broken beyond repair. The car she'd used as an excuse to borrow mine. The car she'd lied about, just so she could test drive a nicer ride. It all clicked. She never needed my car. She wanted it. She wanted the experience of driving something newer, smoother, more comfortable. She wanted to feel what it was like to live a little more luxuriously. And she never expected to crash it. That part wasn't part of the plan. And the new car she'd been showing off, the one she said she financed, that was just another lie, another borrowed illusion. I felt sick, not just because of the money, not just because of the wrecked Camry, but because of the betrayal, the manipulation, the fact that she looked me in the eye and told me she was struggling, when really, she was scheming. I drove home in silence. That night, I texted her. I saw your Civic, and I talked to your cousin. She replied an hour later. Okay, so, I didn't respond, because at that point, I realized something important. This wasn't just about a car. This was about trust, about respect, about the kind of person she really was. And I wasn't sure I could ever look at her the same way again. I knew the confrontation was inevitable. After everything, Claire lying about her Civic being totaled, borrowing my car under false pretenses, crashing it while texting, using the money she owed me to test drive her cousin's Mazda, and pretending she'd financed a new car. I couldn't keep swallowing my anger, so I called her. She didn't answer. I texted. No reply. Finally, I showed up at her apartment. I wasn't yelling, I wasn't dramatic. I just wanted answers. Closure. Accountability. She opened the door, arms crossed, expression unreadable. I talked to your cousin, I said. I saw your Civic. I know it wasn't broken. You lied. She didn't flinch. I didn't lie, she said. I just didn't want to fix it. That's not what you told me. She shrugged. I didn't think it mattered. I stared at her, stunned. You borrowed my car under false pretenses. You totaled it. You promised to pay me back. Then used the money for a down payment on a car that isn't even yours. And now you're ghosting me. She rolled her eyes. It's just a car, she said. You're acting like I ran over your dog. That line hit me like a slap. I wasn't sure what I expected. Maybe remorse, maybe an apology. But that was pure deflection, minimization, a refusal to acknowledge the damage she'd done, not just to my finances, but to our relationship. I told her I wasn't going to help her with anything, financially or otherwise, until she paid me back, that I couldn't trust her anymore, that I felt used. She scoffed. You're making me feel guilty, she said. You're trying to punish me. I'm asking you to take responsibility. She didn't respond. Since then, she's been ghosting me. No texts, no calls, no visits. Unless I apologize for making her feel bad. She wants nothing to do with me. And now I'm stuck. My friends are split. Half of them say she's manipulative, that she used me, lied to me, and is now gaslighting me into thinking I'm the villain. They say I should walk away, cut my losses, and never look back. The other half say it's not worth losing a relationship over material stuff, that cars can be replaced, that people make mistakes, that maybe I'm being too rigid. But here's the thing, it's not just about the car. It's about trust, about honesty, about the fact that I tried to help someone I loved, and she turned it into a game, a test drive, a lie. So now I'm asking the internet, am I the asshole for refusing to pay for her new car, which doesn't even exist, until she pays me back for the one she wrecked? Because right now, I feel like I'm the only one who sees how messed up this really is.